Facts Verse presents. 22 years after this Marine was dumped in the trash as a baby, he was reunited with his rescuer. Troy Sowers had a dream of working with the FBI. He earned his bachelor's degree in theology and accounting and went on to work in an accounting firm as an auditor. He always wanted to serve his country, so he joined the U.S. Air Force, where he served for 4 years. Later he studied at the Naval Postgraduate School, and there he earned his master's degree in Homeland Security Studies. It was this training that pointed him toward his lifelong career and dream job, working with the FBI. He graduated from the FBI Academy in August of 1997. His first post was at the Seattle field office. Troy's job as a field agent was in the Tacoma Resident Agency. His primary focus was on white-collar crime, violent crime, and terrorism, and that is what led him to his first big case. He was on the job for only 2 months when a 2-day-old baby named Stuart Rembert was kidnapped. Melinda Cohen gave birth to her son Stuart at St. Clair Hospital near Tacoma. A few hours after giving birth, a woman entered Melinda's room. Around 1:30 a.m., the woman was wearing a white coat and told Melinda she was a nursery nurse. According to hospital employees, there was also a new doctor on the floor that night. The new doctor appeared to know the layout of the hospital and claimed to have worked as an Army medic. The woman in the white coat told the staff at the obstetrics unit that she was from the nursery, and they allowed her inside. Melinda had no reason not to believe the woman, so she let her take her newborn baby. It was about 90 minutes after the baby was taken from Melinda's room that the hospital staff realized there was something wrong. The cradle was left by the hospital exit. The baby was gone. The police had a sketch artist sketch the person who had taken the baby, and that was all they had to go on. A man working in a shop noticed a woman in the store with a newborn and 2 girls. He suspected the woman of stealing, but he had to let her go because he couldn't prove that she had done anything. Later, another staff member realized that the suspected thief might have taken the baby the day before. The employee remembered seeing the sketch of the woman who took Stuart on the news and realized she might have been holding the baby. He told the police that he remembered her because of her jagged teeth. He managed to get the woman's license plate and gave it to the police. When they tracked down 30-year-old Kimberly Skaguski, she didn't have a newborn baby with her. Kimberly denied ever taking Stuart from the hospital. The police took her 2 daughters in a separate room, and her 13-year-old daughter ended up cracking. She told the police her mother took the newborn from the hospital. She told the police her mother came home with a newborn baby and told her that she bought him for $500. When Kimberly realized the police were onto her, she lost the nerve to keep the baby, and she left him in a store beside a trash bin. When Kimberly was arrested and found guilty, she told the court that she took the baby because she could no longer have children herself. She was hoping that a baby would save her marriage, and her desperation led her to kidnapping the child. She claimed she didn't plan the crime ahead of time. The court didn't believe that the crime wasn't premeditated, though, and she was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Kimberly was in custody, but the baby was still out there somewhere, and that was where Troy came in. The first thing he did was convince Kimberly to tell the police where she left the baby. He was worried when it came time to look for Stuart. The baby had been alone for several hours, and he didn't know the condition of the child. Troy says that when he found the baby, it wasn't crying. The baby wasn't even crying when Troy picked him up. When the baby nuzzled Troy's neck, he knew that the baby would be all right. It was one of Troy's first cases and one that he would never forget. Today, Stuart is all grown up. He says that he's led a normal life and he doesn't think too much about the fact that he was kidnapped as a child. In the 22 years after Troy brought Stuart back to his mother, his career moved forward. He earned a promotion to the Counterterrorism Division, which brought him to Washington, D.C. Through it all, he never forgot about the kidnapping case that started his career. He decided to find the man who he had saved as a baby. When it was time for Troy to retire, Stuart was invited to the retirement party. He wanted to be there because he knew that he might not be alive today if it weren't for Troy, and he never would have become a U.S. Marine if it weren't for Troy's diligence. It was a beautiful moment of reuniting. Subscribe for more.